A once-in-a-century thunderstorm paralyzed the entire city's traffic. The movie theater closed. I had no umbrella and couldn't get a cab. I could only limp towards the street in my heels. My phone rang. It was Leo calling. He asked me impatiently, "Where are you? A married woman out this late and not home yet?" My silence fueled his annoyance. "Are you mute, Gigi? I am at the Panax's movie theater." Hearing this, Leo finally remembered our date. After a few seconds of silence, he said coldly, "Send me your location. I'm coming over now." I didn't plan to let him pick me up, but someone accidentally bumped into me. I fell into the mud. My left ankle swelled up and I couldn't walk far. 1 hour and 23 minutes after I sent my location. In the storm, I curled up miserably and checked my messages with him one last time before my phone died. Leo didn't come, and there was no message. Eventually, a kind driver took me to a nearby hotel. After checking into the hotel and charging my phone, I habitually opened Olivia's Moments. She had posted a new update half an hour ago. Who cares about a power outage? A knight escorted this princess back to her castle. The picture showed her father and Leo enjoying coffee together. I blocked and deleted Olivia. After thinking for a moment, I gave Leo the same treatment. In 6 years of marriage, no matter how much we argued or gave each other the silent treatment, I never deleted Leo. But this time, I was really tired. The next day was Monday. I went to work from the hotel. As soon as I got to my desk, my boss gave me a strange look. "James just told me you were taking sick leave today." Leo was the VP of the company. He personally ordered my leave, so HR didn't dare to question it. I smiled and said I wasn't sick. During lunch, when I went to the break room to make coffee, Leo unexpectedly showed up. The man usually worked on the top floor. He had never bothered to come down to see me. Now, for the first time, he came down, but his expression was cold. "Do you think staying out all night is fun?" "Gigi, you know my temper. If this happens again..." I interrupted him and said dismissively, "Don't worry. There won't be a next time." I was about to divorce him. We would go our separate ways. There wouldn't be a next time. As he looked at my com profile, he seemed stunned. He didn't expect me not to ask where he went last night. After I made the coffee, Leo took it. He frowned, took a sip, and found it so bad he dumped it all out. "Meet me in the parking lot after work today. I'll take you to dinner." I knew this was his way of making up for standing me up yesterday. I also had something to tell him, so I agreed. When I got back to my desk, I saw the coffee and snacks from my co-workers with a sticky note saying, "Happy birthday, Gigi." I turned away and secretly wiped my eyes several times. After finishing the treats, I worked until the end of the day and then went to the parking lot as Leo instructed. Just as I saw him, the man started the engine and drove straight past me. Leo didn't even look at me as he drove by. He just called and said he had an emergency meeting and told me to go to the restaurant and wait for him. At the restaurant, I sat down and uncharacteristically called the waiter to order my favorite red wine steak. Leo was always busy. After being with him, I unconsciously got used to waiting. My chronic stomach problems were caused by waiting like this day after day. The red wine steak was especially good. I ate 2 large plates by myself and was so satisfied that I wasn't even that mad when Leo stood me up again. In the early hours, Leo came home. He noticed that the lights in the entryway and living room were off. In 6 years of marriage, whenever he went out drinking, no matter how late it was, I always prepared hangover medicine and dozed off on the sofa waiting for him to come back. Leo didn't like me doing this, so he often stayed out all night. Then he would point at the bags under my eyes from worrying and mock me for looking older than his aunt. "Gigi, are you feeling unwell?" When he came into the room, Leo reached out, trying to check my forehead temperature. I barely avoided his hand and quietly frowned. "It's late. Go take a shower." The smell of alcohol on him made me nauseous. Leo sat beside me, squinting as he glanced at his phone. There wasn't a single missed call. How strange. Usually, I liked to kill his buzz when he drank, telling him not to drink too much, telling him to remember to get a designated driver. The man cleared his throat and said, "I really couldn't skip tonight's dinner, but I'll definitely take you out tomorrow. Will that make you happy?" I blinked. "No need. You go ahead and be busy." My heartfelt words were met with Leo's mocking laugh. "I've been really busy lately. I don't have time for your drama." My phone chimed with an email. As I eagerly opened it, I absent-mindedly replied, "You managed to squeeze in a movie and coffee in your busy schedule. You're pretty good at time management." Hearing this, Leo's handsome face turned dark. He said he had known Olivia since childhood. She was afraid of the dark, so he had no choice but to take her back to her parents' house last night. Gigi, do you do anything besides imagine things all day? You really disappoint me. Before tonight, the word disappointment was the trigger Leo used to make me cry and fight, wishing I could rip out my heart to prove my love for him. But to his surprise, after hearing his criticism, I didn't say a word, just holding my phone. He didn't know I was looking at the divorce agreement sent by the lawyer. Noticing Leo approaching, I quickly turned off the phone screen. What are you looking at? Nothing. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. With a loud bang, the man shut himself in the study. This was the classic sign of a quarrel. A year ago, I would have already been at the door, crying and begging him to come out and talk. But tonight, there was no crying, only the sound of the printer churning away. I printed the divorce agreement, signed it, and put it in the nightstand drawer. I turned off the light. Despite my insomnia, I had a good night's sleep. The next day, Leo called my desk phone and summoned me to the top floor. Long time no see, Gigi. Olivia sat in the boss's chair, smiling at me with a look of innocence. I see Leo all the time. I always ask him to bring you along, but he never listens. Olivia was a somewhat famous online celebrity. She was young, pretty, and liked to dress up. Every time I saw her, I couldn't help but look down, feeling annoyed at how plain I dressed. But today, Olivia didn't see any trace of inferiority in my eyes. Not only that, I even smiled at her. The pigeon has flown away. Chapter 2. I'm a homebody by nature. Don't worry about me. What matters is that you have fun. Hearing this, Leo turned to look at me from the floor to ceiling window. The faint dark circles under his eyes made it hard not to suspect he didn't sleep well last night. Gigi, Olivia is hungry. Give her my lunch. After years of marriage, I would make different lunches for Leo every day. Just last Friday, I overheard him complaining to his assistant that my food was so bad even the dog wouldn't eat it. He said, "This is what happens when you marry the wrong woman." Remembering this, I calmly said, "I didn't make lunch today." Leo looked at me in disbelief and asked a very silly question. "Why didn't you? You know I only eat the lunch you make," Olivia said sarcastically. "Leo, you must have upset Gigi somehow. Otherwise, why would she let you go hungry?" Leo's expression darkened for a moment. Then he suddenly asked what I wanted to eat and told his assistant to order takeout. "No need. Just order something Olivia likes. I'll grab something from a nearby restaurant." Seeing me turn to leave, Leo quickly grabbed his suit jacket and the pigeon has own Arver insisted on going with me. So I had no choice but to have them both join me for lunch. During the meal, Leo and Olivia kept chatting. They grew up together, talking about people and things I didn't know. I had tried to smile and join in before, but every time I spoke, Leo's eyes would fill with impatience. At first, he was annoyed that I couldn't keep up and pretended to know things. Later, when I became cautious and quiet, he accused me of acting aloof and deliberately ignoring his friends. Since I was wrong no matter what, now I simply chose to stay silent and focus on enjoying my food. After I finished eating, I went to the restroom. When I came back, Olivia was gone. "Gigi, you had a good appetite today." After paying the bill, Leo stood up and smiled as he looked at my slightly rounder belly. I reached out and removed the fake eyelash stuck to the left side of his cheek. I never use fake eyelashes. Realizing this, a rare look of panic appeared in Leo's eyes. "Don't misunderstand. Olivia got something in her eye, so I had to get close to help her." His brows furrowed, and he grew more uneasy as he spoke. I simply said, "Oh," and started walking away. Leo stood frozen for a moment before quickly catching up with his long strides. As we neared the office building, I said without looking back, "I'll go in first. You come back to the office in a few minutes." Other than Leo's assistant, no one at the company knew I was his wife. Actually, the company didn't prohibit office romances. But when Leo and I first started dating, he thought it was too much trouble to go public. Over time, even when we met at the company, we both tacitly pretended not to know each other. That night, Leo came home on time, bringing a bouquet of flowers and a designer bag. As he eagerly awaited my praise, I pulled out a divorce agreement. "Let's get a divorce." The flowers were thrown to the ground. Leo picked up the divorce agreement and flipped through a few pages. His expression didn't change much, but his knuckles tightened around the agreement. "You really went all out this time, even printing out the agreement." He threw the agreement at me. He sat on the sofa and unbuttoned 2 of his shirt buttons with a cold laugh. I bent down and picked up the divorce agreement. I said calmly, "This time, I'm serious." Leo sneered mockingly. "When are you not serious? This time it's a divorce agreement. Next time, are you going to hire actors and turn the house into a courtroom?" I didn't respond. Even if I said more, it would only lead to the same pointless argument. I put the divorce agreement in the study and went back to the bedroom to do my own thing. Less than 10 minutes later, I heard the roar of a sports car engine outside. After Leo left, I started contacting rental agents to inquire about a new place. In the blink of an eye, 2 weeks passed. Leo no longer stayed out all night. Instead, he came home on time after work and brought me various takeout dishes, knowing I was too lazy to cook. Not only that, he even offered to drive me to and from work. A free driver isn't something to turn down, so I didn't refuse his offer. But every time we approached the corner near the office, I would tell Leo to stop. He asked me why. I looked at him strangely. Isn't it you who doesn't want anyone to know about our relationship? Leo had no response to that. Neither of us brought up the divorce again. The divorce agreement remained on Leo's desk in the study. He pretended nothing happened. I didn't call him out, but I didn't just wait around either. I went back to my parents' house and had already prepared them mentally. "Gigi, you finally came out with us, you homebody. Come sit. I've got to tell you, this place is amazing." This Western restaurant was just near the office. I wasn't too surprised when I saw Leo was sitting nearby. I just didn't expect Olivia to be there too. "Gigi, what are you doing here?" Seeing me, Leo walked over, looking pleasantly surprised. When he got too close, I instinctively took 2 steps back. The pigeon has flown away. Chapter. Leo froze for a moment, a hint of disappointment in his eyes. "Gigi, come play truth or dare with us." Olivia grabbed my hand and led me to the table. I didn't miss the deep blue talisman Olivia was deliberately flaunting on her neck. Last year, when Leo's career wasn't going well, I knelt at every step to get it for him at a church. No wonder the last time I asked Leo why he wasn't wearing it anymore, he suddenly got angry and pointed at my nose, shouting, "I put it in my wallet. Is that not okay? Gigi, do I have to report everything I do to you? Who do you think you are? I'm warning you, stop nagging me." After Olivia pulled me to sit down, Leo poured me a glass of wine. Seeing that I hadn't touched it, he rubbed his hand on his knee and asked helplessly, "Gigi, don't you love it?" I didn't answer him, just called the waiter and ordered a coconut juice. I did like red wine, but I didn't want to drink the one he gave me. When someone complimented Olivia's necklace, Leo's face instantly turned pale. He whispered to me, "Olivia's been having bad luck lately." I just lent it to her. "Don't overthink it." While picking up the steak, I glanced at him. "It's not even something valuable. Don't be so stingy. If she likes it, just let her have it." With all the good food in front of me, I was only focused on satisfying my appetite. As for the rest, it had nothing to do with me. In the new round of Truth or Dare, Olivia lost. She chose the dare to kiss someone present. After giving me a provocative glance, Olivia blushed and slowly leaned towards Leo. "Kiss, kiss, kiss, kiss." Leo didn't expect me to join in the chant with the others. "The pigeon has flown Anros. Cup." At the peak of the chant, Leo raised his hand and publicly rejected Olivia's kiss. Deeply embarrassed, Olivia glared at me before running out with tears in her eyes. In response, Leo just rolled up his sleeves and, in front of the confused co-workers, grilled meat and served it to me. After the gathering, Olivia's face stained with tears. She stood in front of Leo and me, having been hiding at the back door of the restaurant. She clutched Leo's sleeve, hiccuping with tears, insisting that he take her home. Leo looked at me, torn. "Gigi, her house isn't far. How about we all walk her home?" My phone rang, interrupting his presumptuous plan. I got into a taxi and told Leo, "You take her home. I have something to do, so I'm leaving." Later, I heard from a coworker that Leo didn't take Olivia home. As for why, I didn't care. The weekend after the team building, I got up early. I dressed appropriately and went to my friend's wedding. Just as I was enjoying myself, Leo's call came through. At first, I didn't plan to answer, but he kept calling persistently. I had to apologize to my friends. I find a quiet spot and reluctantly answer, "Gigi, why did you block me?" At first, I was confused. After a while, I remembered I had indeed blocked Leo on my birthday. I clicked my tongue in annoyance. You've been bothering me with calls just for this. The man on the other end was silent for a long time before saying something I didn't expect. Paid checkpoint. He said he was in the parking lot of the wedding hotel. Gigi, I'll wait for you to finish and then find me. After hanging up, I checked my phone and quickly figured out how. Leo knew my location. A few years ago, there was a popular couples app that let you track each other's locations. After some convincing, Leo reluctantly installed it. We had a quarrel the night he installed it. He said I was a psychopath for tricking him into installing such a privacy-invading app, but I had clearly told him beforehand that he could turn off the tracking function. Later, I found out that he had dinner with friends that night. When they found out he had the app, they teased him for being under me. Because of this, when Leo got home, he used it as an excuse to yell at me until I cried, then smugly turned off the app's tracking function. Years later, I never expected Leo to become the kind of person he once despised just to find me. I deleted the app and went back to enjoying the happy wedding atmosphere with my friends. At 1 a.m., Leo came home alone. He didn't wait for me in the parking lot. Not only that, he found the candlelit dinner and flower petals he had prepared untouched. He thought I hadn't come back. When he opened the bedroom door, he saw that I was already asleep. Once upon a time, one of my favorite things to do was to prepare surprises for the one I loved. Unfortunately, Leo hated surprises. One year for his birthday, I asked his parents about his favorite things and food from childhood and gathered many friends and family to celebrate with him. But we waited until nightfall and he never showed up. After everyone left disappointed, Leo finally came home. He told me he knew all along what silly plan I had in mind. He deliberately didn't show up, letting me apologize repeatedly to everyone, then watched from a distance as I cleaned up alone. All of this was to teach me a lesson I would never forget. He said that after a long day of work, what he needed was a hot meal to fill his stomach, not some childish, romantic candlelight dinner and a pretty starry sky chandelier. I used to think Leo was just too much of a straight man to appreciate romance. But then I saw the graduation gift he prepared for Olivia. It was a fairy tale book he had personally illustrated and printed. That's when I realized Leo wasn't incapable of romance. He just didn't want to be romantic with me. Honey, are you asleep? Without getting a response from me, Leo laid down beside me and gently wrapped me in his arms. One of the reasons I agreed to marry Leo was because every time he held me, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace and happiness. Looking back, that illusion of peace and happiness probably came from his natural physical advantage. If it had been a taller, more handsome man holding me, I probably would have felt even happier. My heart was clearly no longer with Leo. He kept apologizing in my ear. His voice was hoarse as he said, "Gigi, I know I was wrong. You're the kindest girl in the world. Please forgive me this once. I'm begging you, let us not get divorced, okay? I can't imagine life without you, Gigi. I really love you." Noticing Leo's restless hand, I couldn't take it anymore and turned on the bedside lamp. "Leo, don't touch me. Gigi, don't be mad. I just want to hold you quietly. I don't want to be held by you." With some effort, I broke free from Leo and was about to leave the bedroom, but he suddenly grabbed me from behind and pinned me against the wall. "Gigi, let us have a baby." His words sounded like he was asking for my opinion, but his hasty actions revealed his extremely selfish and shameless nature. I thought about I had hinted and then directly begged him to have a child over the years, but he always impatiently refused, saying his career was still on the rise. Suddenly, I laughed. "Leo, get off me. Don't make me call the police. You wouldn't, Gigi." Just as I was about to get serious, Leo's phone rang. It was Olivia's custom ringtone. Leo didn't want to answer at first, but the ringtone persisted. After I pushed him away with all my strength, he reluctantly picked up the call. Olivia's crying could be faintly heard through the receiver. Leo's expression changed slightly. After hanging up, he hesitated and said to me, "Olivia's alone by the sea. I'm a little worried about her safety. It really isn't safe at this hour." I looked at Leo warily. "You should go pick her up. But I don't want to leave you alone at home. Stop hesitating. If you're late, Olivia will be angry." Leo was about to say more, but Olivia called again. The man gritted his teeth. Before leaving, he threw out a line. "Gigi, I'll be back soon. Let us have a good talk then." After Leo left, I immediately took a taxi to a hotel and checked in. One's legs until dawn. When I turned on your phone, I was surprised to see When I got home in the afternoon, he was sitting on the sofa. He was unshaven and disoriented, asking me where I had gone last night. I just said, "Tvi already found a place. I'll pack up and move out later." Seeing the moving truck outside, Led looked at me, devastated. "Gigi, does it have to be like this?" I walked into the study. I took the signed divorce agreement and placed it in front of him again. "I told you, this time I'm serious." Gigged, "I swear there's nothing between me and Olivia. Last night, if she hadn't been crying and threatening to kill herself, I never would have. I out him off, that doesn't matter." Leo looked stunned. "What?" I met his eyes and smiled lightly. "From now on, whatever happens between you and Olivia has nothing to do with me, so you really don't need to explain anything to me." After hearing this, Leo's bloodshot eyes quickly turned a deep red. On the third day after moving out, I get up with a good friend for afternoon coffee at a hotel. Just as I got to the cafe and sat down, Leo called, but I didn't answer. A little while later, I received a text message. "Gigi, I'm sick. Can you come back and see me?" When I saw that message, my previously broken left rib throbbed faintly. I had once been in a pretty serious rear-end car accident. At that time, Leo was on a business trip out of town. His tone was very cold. "I'm in a meeting." When I tearfully told him I had been in a car accident, I was in pain and felt scared, Leo let out a cold snort. Even through the phone, I could imagine the disdainful expression he must have had at that moment. "Gigi, you're an adult. Don't you know to call the traffic police after a crash? What's the point of calling me? Can I fly to your side to clean up the mess, or turn back time to tell you to open your eyes and drive properly?" "Leo, I didn't mean to bother you, I'm just really scared." "Enough. Stop talking nonsense. Grow up and handle your own problems." Beep beep. The busy signal that followed after that heartlessly ended call had now turned into Leo's incoming call ringtone. "Hello. Gigi, why haven't you been to work these past few days?" He probably didn't expect me to answer his call. His hoarse voice carried an undeniable hint of surprise. "I'm on annual leave." "Yeah, I heard. You haven't taken a vacation in years. You should really rest this time." Leo sounded overly cautious, clearly afraid I'd hang up if I got upset. I grew a bit impatient and asked, "Did you need something?" I've been feeling dizzy since yesterday. After dinner, I came back and threw up several times last night. I think I'm sick." So, hearing my emotionless response, Leo fell silent. His breathing was heavy and deep. I knew he wasn't lying. But what did that have to do with me? "Hey, long time no see, Gigi." At that moment, the friend I was waiting for arrived. I quickly told Leo, "I'm having coffee with a friend now. Bye." My friend was full of curiosity. She asked, "Who was that?" "My ex-husband." "Oh my gosh, Jane told me that you were getting divorced, but I didn't believe it. Tell me what happened." And so, my friend and I enjoyed cake and coffee while trashing bad men, making for an especially pleasant afternoon. A few days later, if my mother hadn't personally told me that Leo had acute pneumonia and was in the hospital, I wouldn't have known how seriously ill he was this time. "Gigi, I support your divorce, but you're still technically married. If you don't go to the hospital to take care of him, people will gossip about you behind your back." Hearing this, I silently let out a cold laugh. I didn't try to argue much with my traditionally minded mother. I just said, "Okay, I know. Don't worry, I know what to do." Just a few minutes after talking to my mom, my former mother-in-law immediately sent me Leo's hospital room number and some care instructions from the doctor. I didn't even bother to look at it. I put down my phone, lazily lay back on the sofa, and continued watching my favorite detective show. A week later, I bought a bouquet of flowers and some convenient fruits for a patient and showed up at the hospital's information desk. In the inpatient department. "Gigi, you did this on purpose, didn't you? You only show up on the dir Lee's being discharged. If you don't want to take care of him, you're trying to play the good wife role." I didn't need to turn around. Just from the voice, I knew it was Olivia scolding me. I turned around and met Leo's gaze, who was standing beside Olivia. His first reaction upon seeing me was to walk over with joy. "Gigi, you finally came to see me." Hearing him say something so pathetic, Olivia got so mad that she threw the patient's luggage she was holding onto the ground. "Leo, the one who has been taking care of you day and night, doing everything for you, is me, not her." Hearing this, Leo looked at Olivia with extreme indifference. "I've told you before, you insisted on staying with me. Now that my wife is here, if you have any sense of shame, you should leave quietly." Olivia was still young. She was so infuriated that she broke down in tears, collapsing on the floor and refusing to get up, crying and making a scene. Seeing more and more onlookers gathering, I finally spoke up and told Leo, "You've got it wrong. I didn't come to see you." Leo clearly didn't believe me. He blocked my way, holding the blue talisman on his neck, looking at me expectantly as I frowned. "Gigi, look, I learned to make a new string for the talisman using your favorite color. Gigi, I've been looking for you. So this is where you are." At that moment, a handsome young man walked over. I recognized his face but couldn't remember his name. At my college friend's wedding, he was both the best man and my friend's cousin. We were barely acquaintances. While I was still in a daze, he came over to me, affectionately took the flowers and fruit from me. He smiled. "Let us go." "Who is he?" Leo asked through gritted teeth. After thinking for a moment, I simply said, "A friend." "A friend." Leo had always been mature and composed. I had never seen such a twisted, angry, out-of-control expression on his face. "Gigi, be honest with me. Are you cheating on me?" His words suddenly brought me back to a night 6 months ago. That day, I accidentally saw his chat history with Olivia. Olivia asked him if he would be willing to marry her if they met in the next life. Leo's reply was, "Even in this life, I would be willing." "Leo, tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me?" When I tearfully questioned him, what did Leo say at that time? "Oh, that's right. I remember now. If you think so, then yes." In the hospital, hearing me say those words so indifferently and casually, Leo was completely stunned. He looked at me as if I were a stranger. Olivia was also shocked. "Gigi, how can you be so shameless?" Hearing that, I walked up to Olivia and gave her a heavy slap. I couldn't bear it anymore and told her, "If you dare to act so shamelessly again, I'll post the photos and messages you sent me, bragging about sleeping with Leo. If you're not afraid of social suicide, go ahead and try me." Olivia held her cheek, trembling with anger, but she didn't dare meet my eyes or say another word. But Leo, with a dark expression, pressed me. "What photos of sleeping together? Gigi, you're divorcing me over some baseless photos. I don't agree. Do you hear me, Gigi?" Seeing that I was about to leave with the young man, Leo suddenly lost it and raised his fist as if to hit him. Seeing that I didn't back down and protected the young man, Leo's sickly pale face turned red and veiny in anger. "Leo, go wash your face and look in the mirror." I looked him up and down with disdain. "You're an adult getting jealous and picking fights with young people. Do you think you're worthy?" Leo's face turned pale. Overcome with anger, he couldn't stop coughing loudly. As he coughed, he suddenly vomited a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, I calmly remarked, "Such a good actor." Half an hour later, after visiting my friend, I walked out of the hospital with my friend's cousin, Peter. When I apologized to him for dragging him into the mess between Leo and me, Peter joked, "Treat me to a meal and re-accept my friend request and I'll consider your apology accepted. No time like the present." We had dinner together at a nearby mall, added each other on social media, and then parted ways. A few days later, someone posted a video on TikTok of the altercation between Leo, Olivia, and me at the hospital. Soon enough, people recognized Olivia as a somewhat influencer. News online. Since Leo and I were legally married for years, even though Olivia posted dozens of so-called clarifications and painfully deleted her accounts across all platforms, the storm couldn't be quelled. In the end, she was dubbed the shameless maid of history and truly became famous online. Just when I thought it was all over and I could finally live in peace, Leo publicly revealed our marriage within the company. Because of this, I quickly found a new job within 2 days, with higher pay and closer to the apartment where I lived. On the afternoon I was processing my resignation, Leo got down on his knees in front of many coworkers, begging me not to leave. He said he had deleted all of Olivia's contact information and even told his parents not to have any contact with hers. Leo was still recovering from his illness. Leo looked haggard, his eyes bloodshot. He looked up at me. He gripped my wrist tightly, his gaze dazed as if I were his whole world. "Gigi, I've gone this far. I really know I was wrong. Gigi, don't leave, I'll die without you." I pried Leo's weak, sickly fingers off one by one. Looking down at his pained, gaunt face, I only said, "See you at the Civil Affairs office next Monday. If you don't show up, I'll officially hire a lawyer to file for divorce in court." By this point, Leo finally understood my resolve. On Monday, he showed up at the Civil Affairs office as agreed, and we smoothly went through the divorce process. After the 1-month divorce cooling off period, our divorce was finalized. The night I received the divorce certificate, Leo got into a car accident while driving under the influence. He didn't die but injured someone, had to pay compensation, and lost his job. As for me, I took the $2 million I received in the divorce settlement and bought a plane ticket to South America. I had always wanted to witness the magnificent animal migration with my own eyes. It wasn't until I boarded the plane that I realized my friend had set me up. Peter had bought a ticket for the same flight. Gigi, if you don't want me there, I'll buy a ticket back as soon as we land. Deal. The disappointment in Peter's eyes immediately turned to joy when he saw the slight smile on my lips. The plane took off smoothly. Looking out the window, all I saw were pure white clouds. There was nothing else in my eyes.